It is time to start Viewbotting. That is the title of an article written by Reed Ducher, something along those lines, on the topic and the phenomenon of viewbotting, of purchasing fake views to make it seem as if your live stream is more popular than it maybe truly is. Now, this is a rather hot-button topic, and has been one for the last year or so, but on the off chance that you've lived under a rock for the last 365 days, let me give you a quick idea of what a viewbot is. Well, it looks something like this, where you have an entire wall of devices, PCs, laptops, phones, tablets, etc., all linked up to one central command and control computer, where each of these then pretends to be one person. So if you've got 20 phones, you've got 20 people, 20 bots. They're not actual viewers, they are simulated ones. Or, as bot farms get a lot more complicated and a lot more advanced, you might end up with things like this, for example, where you don't even have the whole phone anymore, you simply keep the central part of the phone, the circuit board. You toss everything else and you mount them all into huge systems of several hundreds, if not thousands of these devices. And then, once a person says, hey, I'd like my stream to be a little bit more popular, you pop on over to a website, pay them a surprisingly low amount of money as well, and then, voila, one of these banks of phones check in on your next live stream. Now, immediately, you might be wondering, well, that's ridiculous. Why would you even want that? It's not like these phones are going to send Superchats or engage with the other people in chat or give likes, etc. Although, well, you can purchase likes now too, so I guess that one is kind of out the window now. But anyways, this isn't actual viewership, right? So how does this benefit the streamer? It's pointless. Oh god, no. Okay, listen. To understand just how unbelievably good viewbots are, I'm gonna have to show you some rather disturbing statistics, so apologies in advance. Here, the article writer, Reed Ducher here, is of course speaking about Twitch explicitly, but this could easily apply to YouTube, to Kick, to Reddit, to Rumble, or any other platform that you stream to, regardless of the content being gaming, politics, culture, etc. But let's take Twitch as the example, shall we? So, the largest amount of Twitch people that stream are this here. 4.46 million people. They stream to between 0 to 5 viewers on average. 0 to 5 viewers on average. 4 million, that is the largest amount there. If we say, like, imagine a stream of like medium size, right? 1,000 viewers stream, that sounds pretty normal. Okay, 500,000 viewers, that's 4,446 people. In other words, if you're streaming to between 500 to 1,000 people, you are 0.1% of the total of streamers. You are beyond the elite of the elites. So you can now immediately see that if you're somebody who's streaming to 0 to 5 and you drop $100 on, say, 1,000 bots, your position increases from the 100th percentile to the 0.1 percentile. Okay? It is insane. And it only goes bigger after that again. Let's say, for example, Stamford Bridge, where me and Sargon stream. Like, we often get up to 2,000 people or more, even more than that on a good day. Let's say that me and Sargon decides, okay, we want a boost. We are going to go out there and purchase 1,000 viewbots, so that we're sitting at 3,000 people. That would put us about here. 2,500 to 5,000 people. That is 1,731 people. That is 0.04% of all streamers. So yeah, That's why people buy Viewbots, because it legitimately makes you look near infinitely more popular than you maybe are. And this, of course, then will be viewed by advertisers. For example, oh my god, you're a 0.4 percentile streamer? Wow, you must be worth a lot of money. We should advertise with you, and we're going to give you a great contract because, I mean, look at them numbers. It also means that you will be pushed harder in the algorithm, of course, which looks primarily at how many people you have watching, how many likes, and then chat engagement. So even if the chat is completely dead, if you're raking in 2,000, 3,000 viewers, you will be recommended ahead of, well, 99.8% of everybody else. Which, again, I don't need to tell you by this point, is absolutely enormous. And this has been a very hot button topic for the last year or so, with loads of people accusing one another of viewbotting, of artificially having a bigger audience than they actually do, etc., etc. And this has a lot of knock-on effects, which we'll discuss while we read this article here. We used to live in a world where if you made great content, algorithms would find an audience for your videos. Now creators have to clip farm, pay clippers, and sometimes even Viewbot to have a better chance of capturing more attention and breaking through the noise. This is especially true on platforms like Twitch, where Viewbotting can surface you on the front page of popular streaming categories. And again, referring back to the statistics I just showed you, that is 100% true. And here's the thing as well, of course. If you viewbot once, say that you really smashed it out of the park. If you are a zero from nothing to somebody overnight, right? You pay for like 20,000 bots. It's probably going to cost you several $100s, right? And you're doing this for, say, a month, constantly on the front page of these viewing platforms, and assuming you don't get caught, as this is all against TOS, of course, you are going to gain thousands upon thousands upon thousands of actual viewers that way. Real-life human beings, which will then further boost you in the algorithm until it looks like you're streaming to 50, 60,000 people. Even if half of those are fake, it doesn't actually matter, because you've already gained the audience that you otherwise would never have gotten. And he does talk about the how much easier it was before too, and it was. YouTube was a hell of a lot easier 10 years ago than it is now, there's no doubt about that, and I assume Kick and, oh, no, well, not Kick, but Twitch is probably the same as well. Thankfully, if you reach the top leaderboards on Twitch and have amassed a large audience, you probably don't need to viewbot. However, there has been a lot of drama on X recently related to the largest streamers on Twitch allegedly viewbotting. This got me thinking, is viewbotting a legitimate strategy? Do advertisers have any way of tracking botted engagement, and why isn't Twitch cracking down on this at all? So, Twitch has tried, mind you, but only sort of kind of tried, because for the platforms themselves also, viewbotting is kind of a good thing. See, listen here. Let's embrace the conspiracy theory for a second. Let's take the Peanut, for example, right? Let's assume that half of his audience is botted, just all of it bought from a bot farm in India, okay? If Twitch moves in and just wipes those people off the face of the earth, then suddenly their biggest streamer is cut in half. That is a lot of lost views, quote unquote, for Twitch. What if we extend this thought experiment and say that like the top 10 streamers are viewbotting by up to half? That would be hundreds of thousands of viewers, millions of views over the course of a month just gone. How do you explain that to investors? How do you explain that to advertisers? Oh, sorry, we were completely lying to you for these years. Whoops. All right. That's not going to be great either. And indeed, I mean, okay, listen. On YouTube, viewbotting is, it's not allowed, but it sort of kind of is. I've told you this tale on multiple occasions previously, but I'll tell it here yet again, the tragic story of my friend Kyle, Kubiscus. He one day found a brand new feature on the back end of his YouTube, promotions, which promise to do what the algorithm is supposed to do, show your videos to new people. Okay, cool. How does it work? Well, you give YouTube like $100, $200, and then they put up advertisements for your video to people. Okay, worth a shot. He throws in a couple $100 to see what happens, and it explodes. He gains like 20,000 subscribers in a week. It's insane. The numbers are crazy. He's skyrocketing upwards, upwards, upwards. But he's sitting there, and he's watching his stream, and he isn't getting more viewers at all. He's at the exact same level he was previously. He's got a couple of videos with like humongous views, but none of them stuck around. None of them. And so he's now sitting there with 20,000 new subscribers who aren't watching anything, who aren't watching any new videos, who aren't watching any new streams. What the hell has happened? And what we eventually figured out is that YouTube had a small problem with their promotional system. See, YouTube was targeting ads towards people that they knew were used to clicking on ads, because they thought, okay, well, this person has clicked on an ad before, which means I should serve the ad to that person first because he's more likely to click on it. Makes sense. However, who do you think clicks on the most ads? Indeed. And so, as the botted accounts began to receive even further preferential treatment because they clicked on ads more often, you had more and more bots clicking on more and more ads, feeding bots into bots into bots, until you ended up with basically legalized botting there. So, yeah. Because again, the platforms don't want to take action. He goes on here, we've been dealing with this issue for a long time now, and I remember reading an article from Rolling Stone where up to 13% of the movement behind the release of the Snyder Cut campaign from botted accounts. Nicki Minaj has also come under fire lately for botting. On platforms like X, bots tend to leave behind the little evidence, no followers, a newly created account, or suspicious comment behavior that can be used to identify whether the account is real or not. However, this isn't the case with Twitch, because of course there's no account or history. Outside of jumping 3k viewers to 50k in a matter of minutes, there really isn't a clear way to tell who is botting and who isn't. The only evidence we get as viewers is the live view counter and the speed of messages in chat, which also, by the way, can also be faked, as there are bots now that write in chat too. Twitch has been dealing with this for many years. A post from Devin Nash sums it up well, and even goes on to say there's no real downside to botting your stream if you're in the top 500 creators. Back in August of last year, we did see a crackdown on bots, and I hope that trend continues for the foreseeable future. Clearly, this is happening again, and bots are finding ways to go undetected. My belief, echoed by XQC, is that they don't care to enforce this. The more views there are, the better things look for advertisers. Correct. And this, of course, also creates a false expectations, both amongst the viewers, who's like, my god, this man is streaming to 50,000 people, he must be incredibly popular. It's 3,000 peoples and, 47,000 bots. And for the advertisers, it's the exact same effect. This has a double layer of both crushing the people who are doing this honestly, as they are now buried under these top accounts that all bot, and they create simply just unachievable metrics for everybody else, which pushes them yet further down the algorithm again. If everyone else is doing it, should you? I would never explicitly say you should bot your views on Twitch, because that would be a TOS violation, of course, other than in the title of this article. But reality is, if you're not view botting and everyone else is, you're at a disadvantage. When you're competing in a category where you're buried if you don't have 500 plus viewers, maybe shifting your strategy to paying clippers and buying bots help a streamer break through. I want to see what it would cost to bot a stream, and for $180 a week on Viewbotter, I can get 1,500 followers, 225 chatters, and 750 concurrent viewers. Not bad for less than $800 a month. Not bad at all. $180 a week, so we are talking $200, 400, 800, right, okay. Not bad at all. And again, so 750 concurrent viewers. Let's assume that you can get a bigger package of 1,000. Again, that spirals you up into the top 0 point something% of streamers. And this then might actually lead to getting actual followers. It is obviously going to be a significant investment in the short term, but the hope is that you will be able to ignore it. And with things like sponsorship, now that you're a big streamer, you're getting ad spaces, you're getting ad revenue, you're monetizing your YouTube, your Twitch, or whatever, very, very soon, your channel will pay for its own bots, and again, the real people will continue to come because you appear to be higher up on the totem pole. Is there any way to detect viewbotting? From what I've researched about detecting viewbotting, even Dan Clancy, the Twitch CEO, has mentioned that detecting bots is a cat-and-mouse game. When allegations start surfacing online, streamers are left to state their case and prove that their audience is real. And for brands, is there any way to tell if a streamer or someone else is botting their viewership? I couldn't find any legitimate that I would trust. Anything legitimate that I would trust. There currently isn't a website out there that can credibly detect bots on Twitch. Something build this and email it to me. Exactly. And this also, by the way, means that advertisers are going to get sick and fed up of this stuff as well. Advertising is already a very large numbers game, right? Advertisement is in essence the effort of showing 1,000 people one thing in the hope that one of those people will be interested, which is why you need those large numbers. If you're showing your product to 1,000 people, you think, but 999 of them are bots, or even just half of them, you've reduced your chances to sell something enormously. The big takeaway, we've entered an era where good content alone isn't enough. Distribution tactics are. When clipping, paid amplification, even bots can artificially push you up the rankings. The player field starts to tilt towards whoever is willing to game it. Twitch's detection tools feel reactive at best. Advertisers don't seem to have a reliable way to verify what's real. If botting becomes normalized, and I think it probably already is, creators face a brutal question: complete clean and risk invisibility, or bend the rules to survive long term, though this erodes trust in the entire ecosystem. Yeah. And here's the thing as well. One could very easily make the argument that this is basically just marketing at the end of the day. Okay, I'm one of those 0.5 streamer people. I'm one of the 4 million. How do I break out of that? Okay, well, I could work my ass off, I could stream day in and day out, I could chase the trends, play the games, comment on the hot things, and maybe slowly but surely I'll grab my ass upwards and grow. Unless I say something naughty and the algorithm absolutely destroys me for literally a decade later. I have some experience in that matter. Oh god, do I? As that is of course another aspect of this as well. Channels have standing. Now I don't know about Twitch, but on YouTube, absolutely. A channel in good standing will behave and be seen in very different ways compared to one in bad standing. And that bad standing also comes from a myriad of different things, like your relative size, your average views, your live streams, the overall size of the channel, the average views of the channel, whether or not you've had any strikes, whether or not there are any flags, yada 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 yada. It goes on for quite some time. But for an example, on my original Lore channel, I saw it happen in real time, where from 1 week to another, my recommended, so that's the number of times that YouTube shows one of my videos and goes, hey, would you like to look at this? It dropped 75% over a week and never went back up again. So yeah, when it happens fast and hard, and I've seen it multiple times before as well. Count Dankula's channel was absolutely throttled the fucking back for the longest time, until he regained monetization and absolutely blew up. Sargon's channel was heading towards 1 million subscribers when suddenly all growth just ceased, overnight, as if somebody pulled the plug. As if somebody pulled the plug indeed. And so if you're competing in that kind of environment, well, your choices are somewhat limited at the end of the day. Especially if you're trying to come up in this environment today. God help you. And when you can see the kind of sponsorship deals and the scope and scale of those who do make it as well, I mean, you've got people becoming millionaires of streaming who apparently make it overnight due either to an algorithmic fluke, due to a genuinely magnetic, charismatic personality, or simply because they sat down and decided, okay, I'm going to spend the like $2,000 a month to put myself in the 0.4 percentile of the streaming platform. It's not good for anybody. It's not good for those who want to do it properly. It's not good for the algorithm. It's not good for the advertisers. It's not good for the platform long term either, as it erodes the trust in the ecosystem. But beyond harsher, more effective policing of it, which, as mentioned again, isn't necessarily in the platform's best interest, I have no idea what to do with it. So, yeah. On that enormous disappointment, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and I hope to see you all again soon, assuming you're real. Well then, have a good day.